I want to ask you about your yoga session which you had. So how was it?
It was a very calm and nice meditative yoga session with a lot of breathing.
How much Hindi you have learned till now?
हाँ, मैं थोड़ी हिंदी बोलती हूँ।
क्योंकि आज हम इंटरव्यू हिंदी में करने जा रहे हैं. We are going to do
मैं
this.
सिर्फ थोड़ी हिंदी बोलती हूँ। इंटरव्यू हिंदी में ठीक नहीं है।
Prime Minister Modi's visit to Norway, and it was first visit in 43 years by any Indian Prime Minister. So do you think that it's a milestone?
It was reinforcing the very good relationship that we have between Norway and India already.
You are very much satisfied with the progress of the relationship.
I am very happy with how this is going. I'm very happy with how this has developed in the years I've been here.
As a diplomat, you have worked in different countries. How you will recall your India tenure if you will write a book?
We don't have the same traditions
Okay.
with the diplomats writing books as you have here in India, but I will keep with me impressions from India for the rest of my life. India is just such a vast country. I keep on learning new things.
Two wars are going on. One is Russia-Ukraine war and another is West Asia war. How do you see those developments which is taking place in Switzerland, and how hopeful you are that it is going to work out?
The world situation is quite serious and quite volatile, unstable. All the efforts that are trying to calm down the situation in the Middle East, that's good. It's good that it's happening. It's good that the parties are trying to come together.
If you talk about the Ukraine-Russia war, US President said once he will come to the power, he will stop the war within 24 hours time, and war is still going on. What do you think that how it is going to end?
Well, I cannot comment on the particular comments of another president. When Russia they were blatantly breaking international law when they were invading Ukraine in 2022, and they are the aggressor here. So for us, it's very important to support Ukraine in the efforts that they are making, and we have not seen from Russia any serious willingness to try and stop the aggression from their side.
One positive thing which surprised you about India?
You know, the vastness of India, the diversity of India.
If I ask about the Delhi traffic,
Well, I'm getting used to it. I am afraid that I will be a bit too rough in the traffic when I come back to Norway also. You get used to it. I still have not got used to the fact that even though there is a zebra crossing, the cars will not stop.
what you have to offer for Indian students if one wants to go there and study for the higher education?
You know, sitting here in the heat of June in Delhi, I would say that we have colder climate to offer. Baat और Norway के बीच संबंध और भी अच्छे हैं. धन्यवाद.
नमस्कार, पॉइंट की बात में आपका स्वागत है। आज बात एक ऐसी शख्सियत के साथ जिन्होंने पिछले 3 दशकों में अंतर्राष्ट्रीय कूटनीति, वैश्विक शांति प्रयासों और बहुपक्षीय सहयोग के क्षेत्र में महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका निभाई है। संयुक्त राष्ट्र से लेकर अफ्रीका, एशिया और मध्य पूर्व तक उन्होंने अनेक जटिल अंतर्राष्ट्रीय मुद्दों पर काम किया है और नॉर्वे की विदेश नीति को वैश्विक मंचों पर मजबूती से प्रस्तुत किया है। जी हाँ, हम बात कर रहे हैं भारत में नॉर्वे की राजदूत मे एलिन स्टेनर की, जो आज हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं। बहुत स्वागत है आपका एक्सेलेंसी हमारे इस प्रोग्राम में अपना वक्त देने के लिए और हमसे बात करने के लिए। बातचीत शुरू करने से पहले राजदूत मे एलिन स्टेनर का एक संक्षिप्त परिचय। अगस्त 2023 में ये भारत में नॉर्वे की राजदूत के रूप में इन्होंने अपना क्रेडेंशियल्स पेश किया और तब से कार्यरत हैं, और नवंबर 2023 से इन्हें श्रीलंका के लिए भी नॉर्वे की राजदूत के रूप में जिम्मेदारी जो है वो दी गई। इन्होंने 1994 में कानून की डिग्री प्राप्त की है और 1995 में नॉर्वे के विदेश मंत्रालय से अपने कूटनीतिक करियर की शुरुआत की है। करीब 30 वर्षों के अपने लंबे राजनयिक जीवन में इन्होंने संयुक्त राष्ट्र मुख्यालय, न्यूयॉर्क में नॉर्वे की उपस्थायी प्रतिनिधि के रूप में काम किया है। इसके अलावा इन्होंने मानवीय मामलों, अंतर्राष्ट्रीय कानून, निरस्त्रीकरण, अफ्रीका और पश्चिम एशिया से जुड़े कई महत्वपूर्ण विभागों का नेतृत्व किया है। भारत आने से पहले ये नॉर्वे के विदेश मंत्रालय में क्षेत्रीय मामलों की उप महानिदेशक थीं, जहां ये अफ्रीका, एशिया, लैटिन अमेरिका और मध्य पूर्व से जुड़े मामलों के साथ साथ शांति और मेल जोल से संबंधित विषयों की जिम्मेदारी संभाल रही थी। 3 दशकों के इस अनुभव में इन्हें अंतर्राष्ट्रीय संबंधों, वैश्विक कूटनीति और देशों के बीच सहयोग की गहरी समझ हासिल इन्होंने की है अपने अनुभव में। परिचय काफ़ी लंबा है, बहरहाल हम शुरू करते हैं इनके साथ पॉइंट की बात। तो एक बार फिर आपका स्वागत है राजदूत में एलिन स्टेनर। वेरी वेलकम टू यू एक्सेलेंसी टू गिविंग अस द टाइम एंड we will start our conversation with a very informal chit chat. So I want to ask you about your yoga session which you had. So how was it?
Well, yesterday was World Yoga Day on 21st June, and I attended the yoga session in the Nehru Park, organized by the Ministry of External Affairs and led by Minister of External Affairs, Dr. Umashankar. It was a very calm and nice meditative yoga session with a lot of breathing, so I learned a lot about that.
So you do it regularly? It was just for this occasion?
For me, yoga has been something that I have been doing quite a lot since I came to India. I'm really enjoying it. I love yoga, and it's a good way for me also to train my body and set new goals.
Okay.
So I'm doing quite a lot.
So you are more relaxed after starting doing yoga.
Oh yes, I start sometimes with yoga in the morning. Those days are much better because I have a different attitude to life after a yoga session.
So today you have done yoga or not? Because I have a bunch of questions and I'm going to ask you. So hope you are relaxed.
I am relaxed, but this morning, it's Monday morning, I don't start with yoga.
Oh, okay. So one question I wanted to ask you, how much Hindi you have learned till now, because you are here in India for last 3 years?
मैं थोड़ी हिंदी बोलती हूँ
क्योंकि आज हम इंटरव्यू हिंदी में करने जा रहे हैं. Are you okay with it?
मैं सिर्फ थोड़ी हिंदी बोलती हूँ.
बहुत थोड़ी हिंदी बोलती हूँ.
इंटरव्यू हिंदी में ठीक नहीं है.
इंटरव्यू हिंदी में ठीक नहीं है, बिल्कुल. तो हम we'll start with the first question, and obviously that question is related to Prime Minister Modi's visit to Norway, and it was first visit in 43 years by any Indian Prime Minister. So do you think that it's a milestone, a turning point between India and Norway relationship?
Well, as you are saying, it was the first visit by an Indian Prime Minister to Norway for 43 years, and it was Prime Minister Modi's first visit to Norway. So it was a very important visit. It was reinforcing the very good relationship that we have between Norway and India already, and we signed a lot of MOUs. We have a new green strategic partnership, so it has for sure been reinforced, and it has laid a very good ground for stronger, even relations now to come in the next years. We will go deeper in this conversation, but my curiosity is that as an ambassador, you are here for 3 years. So how you prepared, how you worked for this visit to let it happen? Well, the visit of Prime Minister Modi was also because we had the Nordic India Summit in Oslo this year. So we also had, in addition to the bilateral visit, we had an India Nordic Summit with all the 5 Nordic prime ministers meeting the Indian Prime Minister. This is a format that is now happening for the 3rd time. And it's the only format that Nordic ministers, prime ministers are meeting another prime minister like that. And the last Nordic India meeting was in Copenhagen 4 years ago.
Yes.
Our Prime Minister suggested then to have the next one in Oslo. And I have been in India for just under 3 years now, meaning that ever since I came to India, I've been preparing for this visit. And we have been building up all the relations, and we have been preparing for the MOUs to be signed, and there has been a lot of preparations going into this.
That's
that
why
I can assure you.
Yeah, that's why I asked this question, because it's like an achievement for you as an ambassador.
This is a big achievement for me personally as ambassador, but of course for the very good team that I've had here at the embassy, also for the embassy. And for all of us here being here when we have this visit happening, since it's 43 years since last time, it's something that we are very happy about.
I know due to protocol issue, you cannot disclose many things which went behind the curtains. But if you can throw some light, what was the challenges and how you cope up with those challenges to make this visit happen?
Well, I would not say there were big challenges preparing for this visit. It was supposed to happen a year ago, as is quite widely known. But then in May last year, also Operation Sindoor happened, and the horrible terror attack in Pahalgam in April, and therefore the meeting was postponed. Of course, we had then prepared already a lot, and we would have wanted it to happen last year.
Yes.
Then we got another year of preparations and of work. Some things we then managed to do even better, and we managed to have more MOUs. And I think in that sense it was a challenge that it was postponed, but it was also a good thing because we got to have the visit, I think, in an even better way. We conducted it very, very well.
So it turned to be later and better.
This is my view, yes.
Okay. As you mentioned that many MOUs got signed, and what I got to know that 12 agreements, MOUs got signed, and India, Norway Green Strategic Partnership, that was the flagship or the big ticket collaboration between the two countries. So can you throw some light on that, how it is going to help India to get greener energy?
Well, it was actually 30 MOUs signed in Oslo. 3 of them were government to government. We have an MOU on a health partnership between India and Norway now. We also have an MOU about digital public infrastructure and digital public goods. It's about how Norway and India can work to help other countries get as good DPI and DPG as you have in India. And then we also have a third MOU on space cooperation. In addition, there were then many business-to-business MOUs, and those together with the Green Strategic Partnership, I think they constitute a much better basis for the work that we will do with Norway and India in the months and in the years to come. The Green Strategic Partnership is a very important one because between Norway and India, what we work on are mostly connected to green, the green space. It's on green energy, green maritime cooperation, circular economy, and we also work a lot together on how to combat climate change. So these are the issues that have been important between Norway and India. These are the issues that will remain important between Norway and India, and it will be more and more important in the years to come. We have in Norway great admiration for the ambitions of India when it comes to green energy, when it comes to the building up of solar and wind energy. And we very much want to support those those ambitions. It's already being done with Norwegian companies who have good technologies in those areas coming to India, but it can be more and it will be more.
So, would you like to put it in a manner that it may become a role model for partnership between India and Norway as a global role model? Do you say that the cooperation level in green energy sector can be a role model for the cooperation between the two countries?
Well, in Norway, we found oil and gas in the early 70s. We are now ourselves transitioning into green energy and also transitioning into to cleaner energy generally. For example, by carbon capture and storage, and also in other ways. So we have some particular expertise in the energy field because of our history in the last 50 to 60 years, and these technologies are very useful for India and India when you are looking also at how to build up your green energy. And I think in that space we have some technologies very particular, and India has a scale and a pool of talents that is very unique. So together this is quite unique, and together this is I think also something that will be an example. Another example is in the maritime area. Norway has the second biggest coastline in the world, so it's even slightly bigger than India's coastline. We are both very important maritime nations, and Norway has, because of our long coastline and our history, also been a big maritime nation for long time. We also in that space have technologies and other cooperation that is useful to India, and that India has now also with big ambitions in shipping are looking to. So also there, because India's talent, India's vastness is something that Norwegian ship owners, Norwegian businesses in the maritime space are very interested in, and they're looking to scale up. This is also quite unique and something that can be a good example.
Okay. And if you talk about the India IFTA-TEPA agreement, which implemented last year, October, and Prime Minister Modi visit set a goal of almost 100 billion investment and 1 million job from IFTA. So my question is that what kind of steps Norway is taking to fulfill this goal?
Well, these days when we are talking about entry into force of the UK-India FTA, and when we're also talking about the EU free trade agreement being signed and implemented next year, I'm quite proud to say that Norway, as an EFTA member, is part of the European group that signed a trade agreement with India first, already in 2024, and that this agreement entered into force last year on 1st October. So we are already working hard to implement this agreement. It is taking some time. Obviously, we see a lot of interest from Norwegian companies, and they are looking at different possibilities. And when it comes to the investment chapter of the Trade and Economic Partnership Agreement between EFTA and India, you are right. There is a commitment there to promote investments. For government, of course, we can only promote investments. These will be investments from private companies.
It will be B2B.
B2B and foreign direct investments. So we can only encourage. But we do that. For example, in April, I was on a trip together with our trade representative, Innovation Norway. to Telangana and Andhra, and we looked at possibilities there for Norwegian companies. We see it's a very thriving environment there in those two states. In Hyderabad, opportunities are growing by the day, and also in Andhra, by the coast there are a lot of opportunities for Norwegian maritime industries. So what we are doing then as a next step is to tell about these opportunities to the Norwegian companies, and we're also looking at taking a business delegation to those states. Just as an example as how we are working with this investment commitment.
Okay.
So we have already a lot of Norwegian companies who have invested in India. I can mention, for example, the fertilizer company Yara. They have a big factory in Babrala in Uttar Pradesh. They are there producing fertilizers and also fertilizers for Indian that are better for the Indian soil and for Indian farmers that will also better the Indian farming. It's a good example of an investment, and we have several of those already, and before the treaty was signed, but now also we have a lot of interest coming from Norway to look at new possibilities for investments.
And why I ask this question, because as a journalist, I have seen many countries making many promises, and when it comes to implementation, so I thought to ask you this question. So I also want to touch upon the fact that Prime Minister Modi's visit gave a very good boost to India-Nordic relation. So how you would like to characterize it, that how it gave a great boost, and what we are going to achieve from that?
May I first comment one more thing on the investments?
Yes,
because you are saying that people are coming here making promises, countries are coming here making promises. But there is one thing that is quite special about the Trade and Economic Partnership Agreement between India and EFTA. There is a commitment to promote investments from the EFTA countries, but also India has helped in establishing an office for the EFTA countries in Invest India that are helping EFTA companies who are coming in, having problems, trying to make it easier for them also to invest. That is why I believe that, this will not only be promises.
So this mechanism will help getting investment here in India, and vis-a-vis any hurdle, if the investors feel they can go to that mechanism and sort it out.
Yes, there are hurdles coming into India, trying to invest. It's a complicated environment here. It's 28 states and with different ecosystems. But this office at Invest India is here to help those companies who are meeting problems, and I have already helped some of them.
So since you are very much satisfied with the progress in the relationship of India and Norway, you are very much satisfied with the progress of the relationship.
I am very happy with how this is going. I'm very happy with how this has developed in the years I've been here, and when I have followed it very closely, and I'm also very hopeful that it will develop even further. For example, we have 160 Norwegian companies present and working here in India today. This has doubled in the last 10 years. Trade between our two countries is still quite small, but it has doubled the last 10 years. So I really think with this treaty, in the next 10 years, it will more than double.
So as a diplomat, you have worked in different countries, you headed different organizations of Norway. I would like to ask one question. How you will recall your India tenure as an ambassador when and if you will write a book?
In Norway, we don't have the same traditions
Okay.
with the diplomats writing books as you have here in India.
Okay.
So I'm not sure whether I will write a book, but I will keep with me impressions from India for the rest of my life. And these impressions are very strong. India is just such a vast country. I keep on learning new things all the time, every day. Everywhere I travel, there is something new, and it's very vibrant environment in India. People, and the young people, are very competitive in a positive way. Make them ask questions, look for new opportunities, and I think this will really take India even more forward in the years to come. And for me, I will really, I'm already reading a lot of books about India, and from India, I will continue doing that, I think, for the rest of my life, because there is so many, and there are so many opportunities.
You have also traveled a lot. How many states you have visited, if you have counted it?
I have counted, and I have now visited 19 states.
19 out of 28.
19 out of 28, yeah. And
And
2 of the Union territories.
and the rest you will cover, I think, when till the time you are here, you will try to cover more and more states.
Well, I've been in India for almost 3 years now, and I have just over 1 year left of my tenure, and my ambition is definitely to cover even more of this vast country.
Best of luck to you for that. And if you move towards the global situation, and as we see that 2 wars are going on, one is Russia-Ukraine war and another is West Asia war. Recently, there are some development. So, how do you see those developments which is taking place in Switzerland, and how hopeful you are that it is going to work out?
Well, from Norway's point of view, we really think that the world situation is quite serious and quite volatile, unstable, as it is now. We are very much looking with positive eyes at all the efforts that are trying to calm down the situation in the Middle East, and all efforts to get the parties to speak with each other. So in that light, efforts and what is taking place in Geneva right now, as we speak, that's good. It's good that it's happening. It's good that the parties are trying to come together. Good that someone is trying to bring them together, and we will support those kind of efforts as much as we can. And we will do that, of course, also in the future. We believe very much in rules-based world order, rules-based world trade, with the closing of the Hormuz Strait, and with the different wars going on. This is challenged, and this is also what we need to work on.
And if you talk about the Ukraine-Russia war, US President said that once he will come to the power, he will stop the war within 24 hours time. But it's more than 1 year now, and war is still going on. So what do you think, what is lacking at the part of America as a mediator, and for that matter, as the party, Ukraine and Russia? So what do you think that how it is going to end, and how Norway can play a role, if at all?
Well, I cannot comment on the particular comments of another president and from a close ally of Norway. But what I can say is that we support the ambition. We support the ambition of trying to get the parties together, and trying to get also Russia and Ukraine to get a solution to the war going on there. But that being said, from Norway's point of view, Russia is a neighbor of Norway as well. For us, it's when Russia they were blatantly breaking international law when they were invading Ukraine in 2022, and they are the aggressor here. So for us, it's very important to support Ukraine in the efforts that they are making, and also to listen to them in what they are saying in terms of what is important for them to solve this situation as we are in now. And we have not seen from Russia any serious willingness to try and stop the aggression from their side. But of course, we are always willing to try look at different solutions, and if powerful countries like the United States are doing that, that is commendable, and we will support that too. So Norway is doing quite a lot to support Ukraine in this situation, and also in terms of supporting them to solutions to questions that they would like to solve.
So a lot of resentment we notice when we talk about the India buying Russian oil, and especially the European countries, they are very much against it. What's your take on that? Should India stop buying Russian oil, whether it doesn't matter whether America is giving a waiver or not? So India should fully stop the Russian oil, importing Russian oil?
Well, let me pick up on the questions that you asked a little earlier on the Nordic India Summit. And at that summit, the 6 prime ministers sat together and they discussed these issues quite thoroughly. It is a values-based partnership also between India and the Nordic countries. We are all democracies. We all want to adhere to a rules-based world order, and we support the multilateral system as it is. So in this perspective, also the issues of how to work on and with Russia, how to work on and with the Russian aggression towards Ukraine, they were discussed, and solutions might not have been found to all the issues, but they were discussed, and there is a debate around these issues also on India buying Russian oil, and from Norwegian side, it's important for us to say that we need to adhere to international law. Are there sanctions? They should be adhered to. That's the only way they can be effective. But if there are not, we just need to discuss, how to conduct this in the best possible way. And this was discussed between our prime ministers.
One question from this point of view, that you have almost more than 3 decades experience in diplomacy. A lot of countries, they talk about peace, but that is not giving any result. So do you think that global diplomacy has lost its influence?
No, I don't think so. I don't think it has lost its influence. And in some processes, there might not be long-term diplomats as me having the most influence. But for sure, I can say that in the world we're living in today, it's more complex. And it takes more to understand what will be the right solutions. So I definitely think that diplomacy is ever more relevant, more relevant than ever. And in that context, also diplomats will be as influential and as relevant as we have been, if not more.
Norway as a country, it has played many important role. From childhood, person like me heard about Norway playing role when it comes to Sri Lankan crisis or whatever. So how Norway is playing now its role, and how Norway is protecting its interest between the major power.
Well, after these 3 years in India, I have become to be an admirer of the Indian foreign policy, which is to align with many countries,
Yes.
and which is well, multi-alignment or strategic autonomy, as it is also called, and it leads to India wanting to have relations with a lot of different countries, and also those countries who do not agree. I think also in Norway, we are a small country. We are aligned as a founding member of NATO. We are aligned with Europe and North America, but we still also try to speak to everyone.
Mhm.
We try to keep open channels. And that, I think, is a reason why we have been used as a mediator in several conflicts between other countries, because we try and have an open line to all countries in different ways. But we also believe in that, and that has been a basis for the work that we have done in peace diplomacy, and it has also been a reason for several countries that are in conflict to ask us to be a mediator.
As you mentioned about India's foreign policy, and you appreciated that Indian foreign policy is doing good. So one question came in your mind that do you think that India and Norway can do something good, better in present time? And if that can be done, how it is possible?
Well, India is a much bigger country than Norway. India is now the most populous country in the world. Norway has a small population. And India is aspiring to be a great power, and it has really been working. It is really looking like one of the great powers in the multipolar world right now also. And Norway in that context is a smaller country. We are, however, an active country in a lot of areas. We are relatively big economy compared to the population, and we are also, I would say, sometimes punching above our weight. And in this context, I really think that Norway and India can work quite a lot together.
Yes.
We can work together to reinforce the multilateral system, to together support the rules-based world order, rules-based world trade. These were also issues discussed between the Nordic Prime Minister and the Indian Prime Minister at the summit in Oslo. And if we stand together in these issues, I really think that we can do something, and we can try and preserve the good world-based world order that we have seen after the Second World War.
That's why I ask you, because it's not about the size of the country or the population of the country. It's about the meeting the mind, because you people have a lot of experience when it comes to world diplomacy. And as I mentioned that I have read about Norway playing vital role in different crises. So Norway's diplomatic experience and India's capability to do the same, and if both can get together and do something good for the world. That's why that was the context of my question. So moving ahead, now I am going in a session in which I will be asking more questions with the personal touch. So you have spent almost 3 years, and we have talked about that also. So what one positive thing which surprised you about India?
Well, I would not say it surprised me, but it came, the vastness of India, the diversity of India. It did not surprise me, but it's really something that I'm thinking about more and more and more, and I'm realizing more and more the diversity and how that is a strength for India.
India has a huge youth population, and when we talk about the solutions, because India is still progressing, and we need a lot of job opportunities, a lot of opportunities in different areas, and the kind of uncertainty prevailing at present. So, what you would suggest that how one youth should prepare him or herself to cope up with this kind of situation and get opportunities either in India or outside India, country like Norway. How Norway is willing to, adopt Indians for their own, betterment, or how Indian can contribute in the growth of Norway.
So there are, as you are saying, a lot of young people here in India. So it's a big part of your population
Yes.
is a young population. We also see quite a lot and more young Indians in Norway. They are coming as engineers to work in the IT industry in Norway. They're also coming to work in the service industry. Very well qualified young people and young Indians coming to Norway. They definitely are contributing also to Norway's economy. We will welcome that also now in the future. What will, if you want to go to Norway as a young Indian, my advice then is to be quite specialized, because we need that specialization for example, the engineers can provide. We don't have such a big young population, so we we don't have that, and that's why they are coming. So, but more on a general basis, I think the young Indians, they are very competitive. They are also working hard to achieve something. My advice is to continue doing that. I am a great admirer of it. Continue to put yourself on the stage and take those opportunities that come to you.
And I would also like to know briefly that what you have to offer for Indian students if one wants to go there and study for the higher education. What you have to offer, because it's a very big, I would not say business, but it's a very big area for the cooperation, because a lot of countries, they are looking for Indian students footfall in their country, and they are offering many things like I would not like to name any particular country, but I would ask you what you have to offer to Indian students.
Sitting here in the heat of June in Delhi, I would say that we have colder climate to offer.
Yes, that's for every Indian, not just for the student.
If you want it a little colder, you can come to Norway. So, but of course, joking a little bit aside, we have a quite a big research and education cooperation with India. We have 68 agreements now with researchers in Norway and India working together in different fields. This means that, when if you specialize in an area, there is a big opportunity to work together and to work together with India, Norway. So, for example, if you want to go to Norway and study, you can tap into one of these projects and be part of the Norway-India journey. We had an education delegation here last month, or maybe in April. They participated also at some of the fairs. They were at the universities here in India, also trying to get some more Indian students to Norway. So there are opportunities.
And you're also helping with the startups, if I am not wrong.
We have provisions for helping with startups in Norway, yes, and also in the Norway-India Research Cooperation. There are several of these projects that are researching on issues that would be very interesting for startups to look at.
And you talked about the the climate of Norway. So Norway means Nordic lights, and every Indian whoever wants to go there, they have one ambition that we will go and we'll see the Nordic light. Apart from that, what Norway has to offer to tourists from India, and so that you can also have more footfall. I know that Norway believes in quality tourism, not the quantity tourism. But what more you can describe? What more hidden gem kind of thing that you can throw some light that if one Indian goes to Norway, what he or she can have a look, very close look on those areas or those tourist places.
Well, Indians want to come to Norway to see the Northern Lights. If they want to see the Northern Lights, they have to come at a very cold period when it's also dark, and you have to go north of the Arctic Circle. And you're not guaranteed, because these are light movements on the sky that are not always there. But of course, Indians are welcome to do that. But also, Norway has a beautiful nature to offer. We have also nice cities, not as big as those in India, but nice cities of Oslo, Bergen, Trondheim, which are nice and good to visit. We also have a history not as vast as the one in India, but also interesting to discover. And I would also say, if you come in the summer, it's not as cold, and you can see not the Northern Lights, but you can see the midnight sun. This is also very beautiful. And even if you're not north of the Arctic Circle and you don't see the midnight sun, you have very long days and very nice light in Norway during summer. So I would recommend to come to Norway as a tourist, but already a lot of Indian tourists are coming to Norway. We see
and you are satisfied with that? You don't need more footfall?
We see a little more cautiousness now with the war in the Middle East. So the number of tourists this year has fallen. We would like it to be as it has been the last years. So we would like more Indian tourists to come to Norway than are currently coming.
So you are describing every good aspect of Norway's climate, fresh air, everything. So when an ambassador you got posted here, you certainly miss those climate and that kind of fresh air. So how you cope up with the situation here in Delhi as far as pollution is concerned?
Well, it's at these times now. I'm not so bothered with the pollution. It's more the heat.
Yes.
And
that also bothers you, the heat.
It does not bother me so much. The biggest problem is that when I can't come back to Norway now, I really feel cold, because I'm getting used to the heat here in Delhi. But being also from a cold climate, we are quite used to being inside, and that is one way that I am coping with the pollution here in Delhi, is that we have air purifiers, and the air inside is quite good. Also, I'm monitoring the air quality, and I'm trying to get out and go to the park for a walk or run when the air is good enough to do that. And I find that those opportunities are also quite a lot, even during winter, when there is a lot of pollution. Of course, if you have to go out with a high AQI level, sometimes I also have to wear a mask.
So I have last 2-3 questions, small questions. I have noticed that as an ambassador, you organize a lot of cultural activity very much here in the premise of your residence. What forces you to do that? I'm using word forces because it cannot be done without having that kind of zeal or that kind of a commitment that we have to do some certain things for the people to people contact. So what makes you very much proactive on that front?
Well, nobody forces me to
The
do
inner
those
sense, I'm talking about the...
cultural events. But you know, what drives me
Yes.
to do that is
That is
a
a good
strong
exact word, drives, yeah.
So that's a strong feeling that people to people connections are important. If we don't have strong people to people connections between Norway and India, we will not have a strong relationship between our two countries. It's about culture, it's about the book, it's about the art, and it's about the music, and it's about how we come together. So that is what drives me to also do a lot of cultural events here at the embassy.
If I ask about the Delhi traffic, what would be your reaction on that?
Well, it's I'm getting used to it. It seems
So
quite
almost 3 years, so
chaotic.
you have got
Yeah.
used to it, or still you need to get used to it?
I am afraid that I will be a bit too rough in the traffic when I come back to Norway. Also, you get used to it. I do walk a little bit around in Delhi, and I still have not got used to the fact that even though there is a zebra crossing, the cars do not stop when I want to walk over
Yes.
the street. So that is my wish for the Delhi traffic, that the cars can stop when you want to walk over the zebra crossing.
So as a driver, when I tend to do this, I always think that someone will come from the backside and it will hit my car. So I will have to see in the back mirror also that, okay, the pedestrian is going through crossing the road, so I have to stop. But that fear is always there, that someone will hit you from the backside. So I can understand your fear. So final question is that, because you have spent so much time here, it might have changed your food habit also. So what kind of Indian food you have started liking?
You know, I liked Indian food long before I came to India.
Okay.
And in Norway, we have a lot of Indian restaurants and some very good restaurants also. But most of the Indian restaurants in Norway, they serve North Indian food. After I came to India, I've got to know much more about South Indian food. And I really must say that I've got to like much more South Indian food. The dosas, and also the more spicy prawn curries from Kerala, and the South Indian food I really appreciate.
And my final question, if you allow me, how much weight you give the Press Freedom Index? Do you think that it carries some weight? Press Freedom Index. I'm talking about the Press Freedom Index. So Norway is at number 1 and India is at number 157. So do you think that carries some weight, that particular index?
As a Norwegian diplomat and as Norway, we strongly believe in press freedom. As for particular press freedom index or particular way of measuring that, as a diplomat, I cannot really comment on that. You know, that's also part of press freedom, that anyone can comment in the way they will, but as a civil servant, it's not for me to judge that.
And before I leave you, if I can mention one incident which took place when PM Modi was there. So how do you take that? Was it an embarrassing situation, or you think that it was part of that particular journalist who tried to ask one question? So what's your take on that, if you want to share that?
Well, same as for the Press Freedom Index. For me, as a civil servant, believing in press freedom, representing a country that believes in press freedom, I cannot comment on one particular journalist's conduct.
Fair enough. And one final word to my viewers, whatever you want to say, whatever message you want to give, please go ahead. One final message from your side.
Bharat और नॉर्वे के बीच संबंध और भी अच्छे हैं.
That's very great. आप बहुत अच्छा हिंदी बोलती हैं.
धन्यवाद.
और आपको हमने कई मौक़ों पे. I have seen you speaking a bit Hindi when there was some function in the MEA and you spoke in Hindi, and that was very, very impressive. So thank you for giving time to us, and hope we'll have more conversation in future at different point of time. And once again, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. धन्यवाद.
तो ये पॉइंट की बात. अगली बार एक और शख्सियत के साथ मुलाकात. तब तक के लिए नमस्कार.